and welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and in today's tutorial we're going to explore this maple leaf. Now if you're Canadian like I am, you will know that there's not a lot of Canadian patterns out here. This is an applique that you can apply to something else. So maybe you have a hat that you want to apply to the side of, or maybe even a headband idea. You can just take one of these and just put it onto the side just like so, and you have a great applique. Now the wonderful thing about this pattern, see the difference of size just like so? The size of the hook and the yarn thickness will change the size of this pattern. You don't have to change the pattern at all, just change the yarn. Today's tutorial is going to be very comprehensive. I'm going to be showing you tips as we go along. We're going to be doing everything on camera, so I will not say just meet me at the end of the row. We're going to follow step by step because these go a lot faster than you realize, and when you follow the pattern step by step you'll see exactly how it's being put together. Now when working on this pattern we're going to be starting off into the center point just like so, going up, and then we're going to start swinging down and around and back up and keep swinging just like this, and we're going to get this middle section done. You will see that's called the center leaf in the pattern. We're then going to start swinging and we're going to start doing the side just like so, and so we're going to start doing, so we're going to swing around and then we start coming down. Now when we get to this part here you're going to say that doesn't make any sense in the pattern. It does make sense, just got to stick with it, and we're going to grow it, and every time we grow we just get farther down as we get back to where it's swinging around. And then once we get the one side done we're going to swing up to the other top here and start and basically come back down into the center point of the bottom just like so. You will notice that there's texture. See that? We're going to be using the back loops throughout this, and so you can see both sides just like this will have the great texture on it as well. So once we get to understand this pattern, I'd recommend that you go on to redheart.com. I'm going to provide a link in the more information of this video. Print out the instructions and follow along as we go. You can see that I've worked on a few of these. I actually have a red one that I can't find already. You know, I just do it and I've got it stuck in my work in progress pile somewhere, and basically we're going to check it off as you go because it's just a lot easier to do so when working on this pattern. And today we're going to be using the Boutique Treasure. I love this particular color line here. I think it does remind me a lot of this, and as we work along you'll see that the leaf will change colors very much like this one here. This was using Boutique Unforgettable, and you can see that the colors were changing as I was going along in that today. Let's start off with our slip knot today. Very easy to go, and our other tutorials learning how to crochet if this is one of your first videos you're ever seeing. So what we have today is that we want to chain 13. Remember that this does not count as one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's what we have at this point, and just really easy to follow along so far. Okay, we're going to go second crochet chain from the hook. So we count back 1 and 2, just go into one strand only, and we're going to chain, or going to single crochet total of 12 times. So we're going to go 1 and just keep moving back. Now I will tell you that we're going to end up on the end of the line, so you can either count it or you can trust in yourself and just crochet along this chain until you have no more chains to work with. And this pattern is really interesting because when we work on the leaves as we're going all the way around, we're going to be going up and down, around and around, not around and around, we're just going to go up and down, back and forth in order to form the leaves. So we're just, let's get all the way back to the end. You will notice in the special instructions of this video is that you will see that we're supposed to be crocheting in the back loops only throughout the entire project unless it states otherwise. Because we're working on the chain at this point it doesn't matter. So I haven't actually told you that at this moment, but it is in the instructions just in case you are seeing that and wondering. So I'm coming to the very last one here. So here's what we do. We need to turn our work, but we don't turn like conventionally. We don't do this. What we're going to do is that we're going to chain 2, so 1 and 2, and simply turn the project around. So now you're going to be going on the underside. Take the straggler, put it on top of the line, and just start working your first one. So it says what we need to do is we need to chain single crochet into the next 10. So we go into the first one and start counting. So 1, and go into the next one, and we have 2 and 3, we have 4, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So why did we only go partial of the way up and not all the way back? Because the leaves, when we're going all the way back and forth on the main level here, is that we're now here. So we're on the next layer down. So for the whole center leaves that we're working on, we're just continuing to go back and forth until we get that complete. That completes off row number 2, and I'm going to cut that straggler that's hanging out so that it's no longer part of the project, so it doesn't confuse you. So let's turn our work. So we're going to chain 1 first and then turn around. So as I said, for the back loops, we're now going to start the back loops, and it says to single crochet into the next 10 as per row 2. So this time, whenever you're looking at the project and you see 2 strands, okay, into the stitch, you see how that's the middle. We have the first and the second. Going into both is 1 stitch. Going into the front one is the front loop. Going into the back is the back loop. We are going to go into the back loops only of this entire project unless I tell you otherwise, and we're going to do that for another 10 times. So let's just continue to move along this line. So I'm going to count them to make sure that we stay in balance. So that was 2 and 3. We have 4, 5, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And 10 takes you right to the point where you're ready to turn around, because the next section is those 2 chains at the end. At this section now, right into the very middle of the chain 2 space, we're going to single crochet. We're going to do chain 2 again and see how I'm naturally turning the project, and go single crochet in again into that same space. Let me try that one more time. So now that we have our end pieces in, we have our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now what we're going to do, and the back loops only continuing around, is that we're going to single crochet into the next 10. So we're going to count that out. So it was 1, and then 2, and 3, 4, and 5. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So how do I know I'm doing this right so far? Well, look at the sides. So you have the first, this is the very top of the leaf here. You have the next step down, and then this one is matching. So I know that I'm on the right track at this point. Let's move along to row number 3. Moving along to row number 3, we're going to chain 1 first and then turn. On the back loops only now, we're going to be going in next 11 single crochets. So in the back loops, so let's count out 11 together. So we have 1, and then we have 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And that takes us, the next spot then is that chain 2 gap space right in the end, right there. So that's where we're going to play next, and it's just single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet as I'm naturally turning the project. So let's do the other side of this leaf at this point, and that's still on row number 3, and we're only going to single crochet into the next 8. So continuing on the back loops only, let's go for 8. So 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're noticing at this point then, you see this is a step down again as the leaf takes shape, and that was that row. So that was row number 3. Let's chain 1, turn our work, and let's get ready for the final row of doing the center leaf. We've already chained our 1, and we're ready to go again. So we're going to single crochet now into the next 9. So in the back loops only, so 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that takes you back to that chain 2 gap space right there. And so this time what we're going to do is something different. We're going to single crochet. This time we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, coming back into the same space. And let's complete the other side off, and we're going to single crochet into the next 9. So starting on the first one, so we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I can tell that's right because when I look at it and cross compare, this edge is kind of meeting that edge when you look across the leaf. And so that completes off the center of this leaf, row number 4. Let's begin the left half, and this is row number 1, and we're going to chain our work first and now turn our work. Again going on the back loops only. It says work into the row number 4. Okay, so this is the row number 4 that we're working with now. It says single crochet into the next 5. So we're going to start off immediately with the first one. So let's do count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But we're not done with that row. What we need to do now is that we have to slip stitch into this next one here. So the very next stitch we're just going to slip. So slip through and through. Okay, so what you're actually seeing on here is that, do you see how the leaves kind of jet into one here? So this is coming around. Do you see how they're coming into the space here? What we're doing is every time we get there we slip stitch in, so then the next one is then ready to kind of come out, and you see that happening on both sides just like that. Okay, so let's move along to row number 2. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now it says to single crochet in the below, BLO, that's the back loop only, of the slip stitch. So right where we slip stitch, we're going to grab that one first. So we're going to single crochet into that one. That one's harder to find, so you got to just look for it. And what we have to do is single crochet only into the next 2. So 1 and 2. Okay, and then it says chain 3 and turn. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. What is this? This is the next point starting up, but we have to get that high, so we have to start off with the chain 3 first. You're going to notice that throughout this project. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work. Okay, so we didn't chain 1 first because we already had our chain 3 there, and what we're going to do is it says single crochet in the top loop of the next 2 chains. So we skip the first one, go to the second. Okay, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into 1 loop only, the top loop only, just like so. Okay, and then what it says to do is that it says a single crochet into the next 3 and then slip stitch into the next. So because there are 3 stitches here, okay, the final one that we slip stitch is going to be way down on this row here. So let's just do that, continuing on the back loops. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, get that final one in there. Okay, and now slip stitch coming back down to this row here. Okay, and we just grab the next one in the back loop only and slip. Okay, so you see the leaf is kind of growing out at this point. Let's chain 1 and turn our work. Move up to row number 4. So we've already done our chain 1, so it says to single crochet into the back loop of this slip stitch. So we're going to start with that one first. So, okay, and then it says to single crochet into the next 5. So let's just count those out. So 1 and 2, 3, and then we have 4, and then the 5th is the very tip of that other piece that you did, that chain 3, and now it says to add another chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we're creating the peak of the next one. Let's turn our work and get ready for the next row, which is row number 5. Okay, just like before, we're going to come second chain from the hook, and we just get the first two. So single crochet, just like this. So we're going to get those first two, and then it says to single crochet into the next 6. Okay, there are 6 currently on here, so just so that you're aware that I already know that. So 1, and I'm going to count it anyway, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then what we have to do, the next one, is the slip stitch to the next one that's available on this line here, right into the back loop only. And that completes off row number 5. And let's chain 1, turn, get ready for row 6. Okay, let's begin. We've already done our chain 1, so we're just going to single crochet into the first one, just like that. Very easy. And then it says to single crochet into the next 6. So we're gonna go 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I want to point something out. Let's chain 1 first. Okay, I want to point something out. So here's the peak of the next side leaf. So you can see this is the step down from that peak. So right where we stop makes sense because it's matching the other peak on the other side. So right over here. Let's turn our work and move up to row number 7 next. So we've already chained our 1, so we're going to start off and we're going to single crochet into the next 7. So 1 into the back loops only, keep going. That's 2. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you can see that took us all the way back, and so now it says to slip stitch then on this row that's coming around. So we go to the next one that's available and slip stitch, and that completes off row number 7. Let's go for row number 8. We're going to chain 1 first, turn around, okay, and we're going to go into the slip stitch, back loop of the slip stitch first. Okay, and now it says to single crochet into the next 4. So we're going to go only 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then it says to chain 3. So let's do that. So we're doing exactly what we've already known to do before. So 1, 2, and 3, and let's turn our work and go for row number 9. Okay, row number 9, second chain from the hook, again the top loop only. Get the first 2 for single crochet. You already know how to do this now, so it makes it easier as you're understanding the pattern, just like so. Okay, so we've done that, and it says to single crochet into the next 5 and then slip stitch into the beginning again. So let's go into the next 5. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see this has been done right, and then we slip stitch coming back down to this row here into the next one available. Okay, and that was row number 9. Let's chain 1 first and turn. Row number 10, single crochet into the back loops of the first one, so going into the back loop. Okay, and it says to single crochet into the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm looking at it now, and you can see that this matches that peak right there, so you know that's done right. And let's chain 1 and turn, and this is the final of doing this side of your leaf. Okay, so I've already chained 1 first, and I'm single crocheting into the first 5. Okay, so let's just start to do that. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we're now going to go into that center piece right over here, and it says to go into the next 5, and then right where it's 2, the gapping of right in the middle right here, this is the chain 3 space. We're going to do 2 single crochets in a row. So 1 and 2, like so. And it says do not turn your project at this time, which I agree, do not turn your project, just stay right here, and we're going to start on doing the right half of your leaf. So starting right where we are right now, we're going to continue to do the right half, and what we're going to do at this point is that we're going to do 7 single crochets in a row and then followed by a chain 3. So again, on the back loops only, let's start on the first one. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 6 and 7, and then followed by a chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and that completes off row number 1 of the right half. Let's turn our work at this point, and we're going to start off the second chain from the hook going into the top loop only, and we're going to do the first 2 like this. I find the right half's a bit easier, just so that you're aware of that. Okay, and what we're going to do then is we've done that, and it says to single crochet into the next 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3, just like that, and slip stitch into the next stitch. So we're just going to slip into the very next one available. Let's chain 1 and turn and move up the row to row number 3. Okay, we've already done our chain 1, and what we're going to do is start on the slip stitch first, single crochet for the first one, and then it says into the next 5 we're going to do single crochet. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we have to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 as we do another peak. Let's turn our work and go for the second chain, top loop only, go to the first 2. So 1 and 2, and now we're going to single crochet into the remaining 6 that are available along there, and then we're going to slip stitch to the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is your final there, and then we're going to slip stitch back down onto this row right here. So it's just like the other side that we were doing. Okay, let's chain 1, turn our work, move up to the next row, which is row number 5. Okay, we're going to start off, and we're going to put a single crochet into the slip stitch, back loop of the slip stitch, just like that, and then we're going to do the next 6. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then chain 1 and turn. So you can see that this peak then is equaling the height of that one there. So I know that's right as well. So let's turn our work, move up to row number 6. Okay, I've already chained my 1 before I turn, so we're now going to go 7 single crochets. So that was 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Takes you across that line, and now the next one is a slip stitch back to this section right here. So we're just in the back loop and slip like that. Chain 1, let's turn our work, move up to row number 7. Okay, we're going to start off, and the first one is the back loop of the slip stitch, just like so, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 4. So 1 and 2, 3, and 4, and now we have to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Let's turn our work and move up to row number 8. Okay, starting the second loop in the hook, again a second chain from the hook, single crochet, top loop only, and then it says to single crochet into the next 5, which is what is available to you. So we're going to start that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then going in to this one here, we want to slip stitch back down in there. Let's chain 1 and turn and get ready for row number 9. Starting on the slip stitch, back loop only, we're going to single crochet there, and then it says into the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're almost done, by the way. We're going to chain 1 and then get ready. So this is what we have so far going on. So let's turn our work and get ready for the next row. So when we turned, we're now actually working on the bottom. It's the bottom and the stem. Very easy, just a few lines here. And it says to single crochet into the next 5. So we've already chained 1 and we're just going to continue to go across. So let's just go to 5 only. So 1, and this will take you to the center point. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and now it says to slip stitch into the back loops of the next 2 single crochet. So right down on this line here, we're going to slip stitch into those. So 1, and go to the next one, slip stitch again. Okay, so now we're going to continue along the other side of the bottom as we go along, and it says to single crochet into the next 3 only. So we're going to do only 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's chain 1 first and then turn. Okay, so we're going to now start at the next row, and it says single crochet into the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Should get the back loop only. Okay, and then what it says is slip stitch into the back loops of the next 2 slip stitches. So these are the next 2 slip stitches. I can actually physically look at it and see how compressed they are to the work. So I'm just going to slip stitch into these ones, so 1 each. Okay, so that keeps that looking really good at the center point. And then it says to single crochet into the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is your final row, and it says single crochet into the next 3. So let's immediately just do the first 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be creating the stem on this one, this round here. Okay, so we got our 3. It says slip stitch in the back loop of the next slip stitches. There's actually 2 slip stitches here. We're going to get to the first one first and slip stitch again, just like so. And now it says to chain 10. Now you'll notice in the photograph that you'll see these hanging. This is going to create a loop, so I'm going to show you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So if you want to create the loop just like the photo, you're going to skip to the chaining of 5, but I want something more solid for a hat, so I'm just going to start off with the second chain, the front loop only, and I'm just going to crochet myself all the way back. So you can either skip to the 5 so you can have a dangly garland leaf idea, or you can just single crochet yourself down the line, getting yourself back to that point. So this is a creator's choice. I want to do something kind of with the leaf here for a future project. Okay, so I'm just crocheting all the way down. If you wanted to change the color of your leaf, you would have done it at the slip stitch as well. Once you get all the way down to the bottom, you're wanting to slip stitch then into the back bar of the next 5 chains. So we're just going to slip stitch to the first one. Okay, and we're just going to continue to slip stitch across like so. And that concludes this project. So what we have here is that we have a fabulous Canadian leaf, or maple leaf. I want to say Canadian leaf because I am Canadian. So I just want to take this, just trim it. I want to take a darning needle and just hide in the loose ends at the end, and voila, I have an amazing leaf pattern just like so. And you can play with the colors and make them really fun and interesting. And that is it for today. On behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd, thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, have a fabulous day, and may your crochet hook be with you. We'll see you.